Hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 2, Czech and Lawliet. That game number 1 really back and forth in a Night Elf mirror match, getting to the late game. Do not want to spoil it for you, as Lawliet is over here on the top left hand side as the yellow Night Elf. Meanwhile, Czech on the bottom right hand side as the red Night Elf. A Czech with the 1-0 advantage as we quickly go down to 1 speed at normal speed here. Ancient of War tanking a lot of damage. Demon Hunter going to be able to finish off the Renegade Wizard without even having to look. Pretty much the same exact thing happening on the opposite end of the map as the Archer and Demon Hunter finish things up. The only real difference is going to be the items that drop. Claws of Attack +6 and Cloak of Shadows versus a Circlet of Nobility and Slippers of Agility +3. Who really has the advantage there? Well, Demon Hunter does not need to use Shadow Meld all that often, but we did see Lawliet use it to very good effect in the previous game. Meanwhile, Demon Hunter now picking up a Circlet of Nobility has +7 attack already at level 2, so that is a very significant amount of bonus damage, at least a minimum of 20, what is that? I can't even do my math right now. About a 25 to 33% damage bonus on the low end, and a 1/7 or 1/8 bonus damage on the high end there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Demon Hunter finishing up the Forest Trolls here. Gonna clean things up. And now, after these creep camps are cleared, I expect Czech and Lawliet to actually try and scout each other out and figure out what their opponent is doing, and to really come up with a strong strategy moving into the mid-game. Now, are we going to perhaps see Druids of the not Druids of the Claw, are we going to perhaps see Keeper of the Groves to go alongside the Druids of the Claw, or are we going to see those Naga Sea Witches? I really believe the Druid of the Claw would have been a much stronger hero. Yes, the Abolish magic does get used very quickly on entangles, but at the very least, your aura is always very effective. 10, 20, 30% damage reflection pretty much means that the other your opponent is going to have a very difficult time trying to engage without taking at least some damage and some collateral damage there. Demon Hunter now sitting at level 3 has Dust of Appearance, Boots of Speed, Slippers of Agility, going up against Boots of Speed, Circlet of Nobility, Claws of Attack +6. There's the mana burns there. Both sides sitting at level 3 at exactly the same amount of experience, as their creep patterns were nearly identical. All right. Expansions should be perhaps coming online here. They should be cleared out in just a moment. Demon Hunter now back off to the north could clear out that Ancient of War, as the Demon Hunter now making its way back down to the left side, perhaps trying to scout out something that he wants to figure out what his opponent's strategy is. You can also see a Wisp here and an Archer here. The Demon Hunter is not going to spot that Archer. There is the Shadow Meld. Dust of Appearance needed to be used right there, but very difficult to try and guess where your opponent is going to be most of the time. All right, I believe that was a detonation. Yeah, still sitting at 512 experience, as both sides now still doing a little bit of scouting. Czech's army very small, 23 over 50 compared to Lawliet, who's sitting at 24 over 50. You can see Keeper of the Grove coming in on both sides this time around. And those Keeper of the Groves are going to be very important in the earlier stages and the later stages. The earlier stages, because of how useful that Entangle is, until the Dryads can really come over to try and abolish it. But finally, in the end, the Thorns Aura is really what you need that Keeper of the Grove for. In a mirror match, that 10, 20, 30% damage reflection is pretty much everything. But Czech may get caught unaware right now, as an Archer already pelting arrows in the back. All right, who's going to get the experience? Demon Hunter. Oh, there's the Entangle. Picks up the Robe of Magi. Purposely drops the Dust of Appearance. Keeper of the Grove says thank you very much, as we now see an Entangle now go down. Staff of Preservation does go down here. Robe of Magi should be given to the Keeper of the Grove in addition to the Boots of Speed, as Czech's Keeper of the Grove now, I guess, skipping. I don't know. Is he really skipping or galloping through the forest at a very high rate, and should be able to deal an additional damage as well over a 25% damage boost, a 30% damage boost over the minimum amount of damage there, as we now see the Entangle go down on the Nightcrawler. In addition to dealing damage over time, it also roots the target and essentially stuns them, making them unable to do any sort of attack. A very big deal, but now an Entangle going back the other way. All right. Mana burn on both sides. Is this Keeper of the Grove going to be able to get away? It looks like he may be able to do exactly that. Are we going to see an Entangle? There is an Entangle. No Entangle. There is the Entangle onto an Archer. The Archer now going to fall. No Entangle onto the other Keeper of the Grove, as the Keeper of the Grove does get a little bit more experience at the felling of that Archer. Demon Hunter sitting at level 3. Keeper of the Grove sitting at level 1 on both sides. Demon Hunter quickly dropping the Circlets of Nobility, getting that Moonwell, and then coming back online here in just a second. Plus 10 agility, 36 agility for a level 3 Demon Hunter. That is a lot of armor, a lot of damage to be had on a Demon Hunter that, well, is actually relatively low level and shouldn't be nearly that big of a threat. All right, let's take a look at Lawliet. Lawliet, plus 8 damage, has the Staff of Preservation, has the Boots of Speed. Keeper of the Grove now wandering around here. You can see Thorns Aura level 1, also having Devotion Aura. So not only is Lawliet going to be dealing more damage per attack and reflecting some, he is also going to be reducing the amount of incoming damage with that Devotion Aura. It is going to be a 6% or an additional 6% effective hit points, as Lawliet loses the Ancient of War there. All right, Demon Hunter now wandering around, heading back across the center. So far, only a level 1 Keeper of the Grove going up against a level 2 Keeper of the Grove with Devotion Aura, and also has an Orb of Venom. Interesting choice to put the Orb of Venom on the Keeper of the Grove. Yes, the Keeper of the Grove does have a range attack, so that does allow him to apply that poison to multiple units, but he also has a little bit of a slower attack here. You can see that the Keeper of the Grove actually switched targets, and by switching targets, he is getting extra damage across all the other damage over time units across other units there. So far, it looks as though the Keeper of the Grove will not be getting to level 3. Meanwhile, the Demon Hunter is sitting at level 3 here, and the Keeper of the Grove is still... the Keeper of the Grove is still sitting at level 1 with no Thorns Aura yet. With the Druids of the Claw now sitting at Mastery, or getting Mastery training, the Bears are going to make a very, very big difference in the upcoming fight. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Demon Hunter now making his way off to the north. Mana Burn, Druid of the Claw, Abolish Magic, as the Staff of Preservation does come in. That is why the Dryads are so important in this matchup. But what ends up happening is, as you start using more and more mana from the Dryads to remove the Entangle, you're not going to be able to remove some of the other abilities as well, such as Roar, such as Roar, and such as Rejuvenation. All right, let's go ahead and continue to follow things up here.
A player's forces are under attack.
All right, down over here, clearing out of a relatively easy creep camp. Meanwhile, off to the north here, Lawliet clearing up some easy creep camps, and it really feels like there's going to be one small battle that is going to start to just tip things in one side or one player's advantage. So far, things are pretty much even at this stage. Keeper of the Grove finally getting to level 2 for check, but we may be going up against almost a level 3 Keeper of the Grove. There is the Entangle onto the Druid of the Claw. There is a Rejuvenation and an Abolish Magic as he goes back into bear form. All right, there a couple of engagements there. A lot of Staff of Preservation once more as the Keeper of the Grove able to slip away. He's doubling back around right now, and it looks like it was because the Keeper of the Grove was trying to cut him off. All right, a beautiful cutoff right there as Lawliet may end up losing a bear. No, picked up at just the last moment. Is he going to try and pick up more units? That is a big question. Is the Demon Hunter perhaps going to drop down Staff of Preservation? Oh, nope, not going to even have to bother with that. Just able to pick up and now move back off to the north. Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove off over here, sitting at level 2, desperately needs to get to level 3. Now I'm going to head off over here, pick up perhaps a Scroll of Healing or a Scroll of Protection, which also throws the Dryads into a very, very strange spot. Do you try to dispel magic off of those scrolls of protection. Demon Hunter now staff of preservation, another bear. Now that bear is back into the fight here. That bear off over here. This bear needs to get healed up, and Lawliet is fighting with home field advantage, but it does look like he is very, very heavily pressed. All right, all the units are now back home inside. They are going to be slowly dropped back in over here. Some regrouping efforts are going to be needed as the bears are now finishing down a significant number of moonwells. Very, very big problem, but Lawliet knows that he cannot try and rush this. He needs to be very, very cold and calculating on when he engages. All right, Ancients of Lore are starting to fight back. All right, Scroll of Town. Wait, oh, he's going to Scroll of Town Portal straight on his opponent, and that was a big surprise. A brilliant move by Lawliet to try and get over his opponent onto the other side. Scroll of Protection now coming in from Czech. Scroll of Town Portal now needed by Czech there. Staff of Preservation saving one of the bears, as we now see all the units now have backed off. Supply count 56 over 10. Czech sitting at 58 over 70, as Czech is now starting to squeeze ahead once more, similar to the previous game where it felt like he was behind for quite some time. But a lot of the fights just seem to be going his way. Better positioning, more mana, better management of his units overall as the bears, and that is a significant number of bears. 8 bears with only 2 dryads, and that is going to be a very big deal in those upcoming fights. All right, let's take a look. Do we have, well, a little bit of healing coming in? There was a Moonwell off to the north there. That was the only other Moonwell that is left. Lawliet is in significant trouble. He has no way of really healing, while Czech is pushing forward with a rather large army. 56 over 20, 68 over 70, as Czech is now going in for the killing blow to try and halt whatever Lawliet hopes to do. All right, a handful of Moonwells. This Moonwell just getting finished. There is a Scroll of Protection. Bears need to get in line. We can see Wisp now being brought over. There is a roar, and now in comes the engagement. We could perhaps see some detonations as well. Keeper of the Grove looking to perhaps get some entangles off. Not quite sure why he hasn't. And who has level 3? No one has level 3 on their Keeper of the Grove. There, now seeing that level 3. Is it going to be level 2 Thorns Aura? That is the big question, as Lawliet needs to try and fight all of this back. All right, it looks like it's still level 1 Thorns Aura, not level 3 or level 2, and it might be a higher level. No, it is level 2 Thorns right now. Yeah, level 2 Thorns, so you're reflecting 20% of your damage back. Still trying to fight back here. We are at 34 over 40. At least now Lawliet can train up more units, but this is not a good spot to be in, as Lawliet may end up losing his Demon Hunter. There it does get taken down. Druid of the Clod now trying to retreat back. He is almost level 4, but it may be too little too late. Level 3 now on the Keeper of the Grove as well. It has level 2 Thorns Aura, as we are now engaging here. All right, little bit of damage being dealt through. Walking through a gauntlet of trees. But at this point, Czech knows that he is in a good spot. It looks like he'll be able to 2-0 Lawliet in this best of 3 series. Keeper of the Grove unable to make it out of there, and there is the GG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 2-game series between Lawliet and Czech.